All right, we are going live now.
Awesome. Happy Juneteenth weekend, Pappy's Day weekend. Any other weekends?
I don't know. We'll figure it out once we start the show.
Men's Mental Health Month.
Audio Jungle.
All right, we're back once again. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. So what we're going to do right now is sync up our intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
Not guilty.
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. It was freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. So if you're in the area and you want to see us stream this live, I don't know who would want to see this, but anyway, if you want to see us live, drop by Mott Branch Library. We're in the pink room where we come to you and talk about the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we're working on right now, which is the week of Juneteenth and a few things that's coming up in the future. Let's get into some intros. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, and also I'm an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo, and we'll share a little bit about that along with this week's edition of The Final Call. Man, what am I wearing? Today I've got on kind of a peach shirt. I've got my glasses from Optico, twixt between. So if you ever see my sister Christian Moncrief, let her know that you heard me online, and I think she'll give you a 20 or 30% off on, I don't know. Just let her know I said it. I got my beads on, and as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. And this is Men's Mental Health Month. And as always, we're doing this for the protest community and activist culture, where sometimes we do have to take some self-care, take a step back, recollect ourselves, recalibrate, rebalance, and get back on the field. So I'm glad that we're talking about this today. And I've got kind of a short interview that I want to do with Jody today regarding that, and I'll give some tips on what keeps Brother Washington here year after year. So I think I'm good on my intros. If you can do your intro, then we'll get into our mission statement and guiding principles and keep this thing moving.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer behind this awesome, amazing, inspiring organization that just keeps going and going even longer than the Energizer Bunny and all that good stuff. I want to give a warm welcome to everybody that will be out celebrating Juneteenth weekend.
That's right.
And Father's Day. I keep calling it Pappy. People like, who's Pappy?
You know, I was asking. I thought it was a new thing. All right, okay.
But see, that's kind of how I talk. I have a weird kind of dialect and slang when I'm not on stage or performing, and I'm getting into them years where I'm just going to be like a person. So people will hear, you know, how they have the actor's voice and parts. Yeah. So anyway, I say Pappy's Day, but it's Happy Father's Day.
Okay. I was
to
worrying about
celebrating. Of course, Men's Mental Health Month, and I believe it's Asian Heritage Month and Pride Month. So a lot of things going on, lots of festival season. This is pretty much festival season if you've seen people going out and stuff like that. So if you're able to go out and vend and meet some people, go touch some grass, maybe join a community garden, do it while you can.
That's right.
Summer is only here for a couple months out of the year, depending on where you're at and stuff like that. And more to describe me, because I'm always forgetting to describe myself, people. The reason why we do is because we also are on Spotify, which they can't see our faces. They can't see this awesome background, which you've probably taken one or two more looks at to figure out, hey, is they part of this system? No, it ain't that. But anyway, I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos, crystals, and stones, and bones, and artifacts from doing this for the last decade plus, from going out and being vulnerable within my community and fighting for those that have found injustice in the system and actually doing it more than on stage or in books or behind the keyboard. I've sacrificed life, friends, identity, being doxxed, have government files about me for being in certain things to make sure that the next generation has something that they can believe on that's not AI or some keyboard warrior. It's been a very fun journey, but I'm wearing my usual hat and the brand hat and all the chains. And I have an artwork shirt from the Arts Commission. Shout out to them and the Watershed and all that stuff with Starburst. Unfortunately, I was at work, so I couldn't make it. And kind of behind me, you can see some remnants if you go to my page. Last year, I did the crown piece of my staff. This year, I'm doing the snake around my staff in colors that'll be fluorescent and stuff. So you'll probably see it out at the fairs. And that is a good description of me today.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for joining us each and every single week, because, you know, you could be any place in the world, but you chose to be here with us. And we appreciate that. We appreciate when we see you not only online commenting and reacting or letting us know something, but in public and in person. That is this is a very personal thing and decision to be an activist in any area, even if it's I don't want the little clip-ins on shoelaces no more.
Yeah.
That's still something you got to hear a lot of no's. A lot of people who won't have an opinion until you have one.
That's right.
So how do you get to the point where you can actually form an organization, trust in the people around you, and build something that you want to outlive you? We have a mission statement
and the guiding principles, which is kind of like the glue that keeps all of the activists together and united while we're doing this.
Yep. And it's something that you are stepping into something. At this point, I'm too old. I'll ask for it. Like, do you have a set of guidelines or rules or something like that? Because a lot of people are beginning to fake the funk on mental health and activism and trying to help their community because they know there are certain grants and stuff attached to it. And this work isn't really grantful. You either get in and do it or you'll be quickly rooted out. So we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, provoked, attacked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally, yes, all equally to, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right, and those were our mission statement. And shout out to Sister Yvette Muhammad for helping us craft that back in 2014 so that we got something that includes everyone without excluding anyone. And our guiding principles, we found those at the Movement for Black Lives in Cleveland, Ohio in 2015. Here are the CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. we rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
Those are our guiding principles, and that's the thing that I believe that 99.9% of everyone that's joined this movement, and I'm talking about CSRN, that they've all embraced this, because this allows all of us to organize together, maintain our own integrity of whatever our foundation is. If you join CSRN and you're a member of the NAACP or the Nation of Islam or a particular church or whatever
violence group.
Yeah, our guiding principles can practically apply to all walks of life, and particularly Black lives, as they say, Black lives. But I want to get into, before I was pretty good, Jody, I thought I did. Before I get into our Black Lives Matter moment, you're seeing our B camera, which is kind of a behind the scenes, and you can see some of our documents that we read from for the guiding principles and mission statement. And we like to also talk about some of those things that really stood out with us for the past 12 years that we've been organized together, and we call those our Black Lives Matter moments. So, Jody, do you have a Black Lives Matter moment from 12 years that we've been organized together? Is there something that stands out to you?
I do, but I know yours is better, so I'm gonna let you go first.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. My Black Lives Matter moment, I think this is from 2017. I'm not sure. I have to go back and find Kimberly Cardell's poster that she did for us, which was a dynamic poster that she did for us. And we had a Juneteenth event. And this was after, I think the Art Museum had a Juneteenth event. And I got a shout out to Mother Diane Gordon, who was holding Juneteenth events in the 90s. She was holding Juneteenth events when I really didn't understand what Juneteenth really meant. So I'm not the GOAT of Juneteenth, all right? But I'm him, all right? But I'm not the GOAT. But in 2017, we decided, after the Art Museum kind of forego their Juneteenth celebration. I think they do just some type of block party now, all right? But it's not rooted in the Black experiences. It's its own thing, whatever that is.
Right.
And we decided at CSRN, hey, let's have our own
Community
Juneteenth.
Day.
Yeah, Juneteenth observation. We had it at the Frederick Douglass Community Center. Our brother Reggie Williams, co-signed for it and allowed us to have it there. And the particular thing that happened there was the city of Toledo's resolution to CSRN.
Yes.
And we have that sitting.
One of two.
Yeah, we have that
proclamation too.
Right. We have that on our table, and we're thankful to our brother Nick Comives for making that happen for us. And one of the things that we did at that Juneteenth was to recognize a special person. Her name is Marquita Bay. She's a part of the Toledo Police Department, and I've known her since she was a teenager. All right. And she has always been community focused, and that is the direction that she went in, and she was supported by our sister Anita Madison. And man, our community is diverse, and everybody doesn't have to be the same, but you got to love us. And we recognized her along with many others that day. And another special shout out.
Are we still on B camera?
Yeah. Yeah. And another special shout out was for, man, I almost lost my train of thought, Tracy Perryman, Dr. Tracy Perryman. She's a dynamic singer, an artist and performer, I think songwriter also, and CEO. And she volunteered her everything for that Black Lives Matter Juneteenth celebration. And she brought everything, because we just had a sound system that was struggling to make a sound, and she brought everything. I will forever have her at all of our picnics or outings or cookouts for that. So that's my Black Lives Matter moment. And while you're doing yours, we'll switch to camera 1 too. All right. They just got a chance to see everything.
I know, but it's so funny because people ask me when I do the 3 shots of the guests and stuff, you always have your heads like this.
Oh, yes to them.
It is so funny too, because I'll be taking shots. I'll be trying to change the angle, and no matter what.
All right, well, good. I keep my head
to see that, because even if the camera's not facing us, it's still the
okay. All right, yeah.
Okay,
all right. I guess that's my thing. All right, okay.
Out of 6, almost 7 years, I just go back through photos, and there's
okay. Hey, like your thumb. All right, okay, all right. That's what's up. And also a big shout out to the NAACP. They're meeting pretty much next door to us. So we got a lot of Black energy going on at the
taking a look at the signs and
they're like, okay, we are that. We're on all of that. All right. And man, I really want to
walk by the current revolution to
you
get to
got
the old.
to look. And I'm proud of CSRN because we're all of that. When we say we throw no one under the bus, we throw no one under the bus. All right. I challenge anybody on who did we throw under the bus. All right. We didn't throw no one. All right.
Yeah.
So, so Black Lives Matter moment.
I am going to go with our involvement in the Aid for Flint. What was that? 2017? It was long before the pandemic, so 17, 18, maybe, possibly. We organized multiple trips going up there. One of them, I was with Mike Leonardi and met some awesome people, SoFly and stuff from there. The Michigan militia came down. It was one of the very first performances of Silent Face in the crowd before May Day. As I was told, and I left the mic and stuff because it's part of a movie called Parts Per Billion. I still got to find it. It's an indie movie, and I remember signing the documentation and all that. This is not B camera. This is just a bigger A camera. That's what I was thinking. I just looked down.
Well, that's A.
Right.
That's the B, but they took out the
the corner stuff.
Yeah,
but so they can see behind the scenes and all the
Right.
screens and stuff. Luckily, I had nothing on here with the show. But yeah, so it was interesting because I still have to find that movie today, but that's my first IMDb or IMD, whatever it is, thing, because I was at work and the coworker was like, "Hey, you famous?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, I was looking up our employees' names. Creepy." But either way, to see if anybody had did anything. And then he was like, "Yeah, I found you on this thing." So I still have to see that, but that will be one of my moments because it was a true Toledo community effort. There was in total maybe about 10 box trucks of water and supplies over the course of the events. And then, things got difficult or people fell out or not fell out like that, but just weren't able to accommodate with what we were doing. And then other resources came in. But yeah, the Aid for Flint and helping them out as an organization and going up there several times and meeting the people in the midst of what was going on and standing outside the governor's place and protesting and shooting films. I still got to see that movie one day.
All right.
That will be my moment.
All right. So, as you know, this month, June, there's a lot of stuff going on.
That it is.
As we call it the month of Juneteenth. All right. We could take a whole month on it, whatever we want. But also just this last month was Lupus Awareness Month.
Yep.
This month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And as activists, I've always wanted to ask Jody this question because we normally don't interview each other. We have someone on because we really want to hear what the community is talking about. But since this is Men's Mental Health Month and we're activists and we're entrenched in this work, I wanted to ask you, man, what is it from 2012 to now? We've seen a lot of people come and go. All right, a lot of people come and go. We've seen people active. We've seen them inactive. Man, if you could tell people for Jody L. Summers, spoken truth, child of the system, what is it that's kept you here? And if there's some cheat codes to keep you here, that's kept you here, what are those?
I don't expect me out of other people.
Okay, all right.
I've learned many, many harsh ways in life to not. I don't expect accommodations or favors or gratitude in a sense for what I do for my community. When I do go over my list of accolades or send my CV file out or do stuff for bookings and stuff, our thing is not there. I don't want a pat on the back because I was at a protest line or a court date or speaking to politicians and becoming a politician.
At the same time.
Be in the same room, maybe not have the same power, but have the influence that you have to see my face. Especially this last series, I've been going over a lot of the therapy part of artwork, which is interesting. Most of us need therapists ourselves, but then in the process of doing things with trauma and stuff, you learn how to cope with things, how other people don't cope with things, how bad it can be, and sometimes how good recovery can be. A decade of that is, if it doesn't change you, you might be in the wrong job.
That's true.
Not necessarily that this is job.
Right, but I get it.
But I was seeing a post in akin to writing about being writing in school. It's always like you have homework until you die.
Yeah.
Kind of in that area, but that is what civil service is. That's what activism is. That's what caring for your community is, because it's not I went to the award show, we had the best year this year. No, it's because tomorrow you're going to have to get back up and probably deal with that person that you don't want to deal with, or deal with a horrible situation, and then all accolades and that nice white party or whatever you went to the night before is going to fade because you got to get back into work mode. It's like, again, the nurses that were at the West End Festival, they were having fun and chilling and everything, and then all of a sudden you got to get back into work mode. I get to talk to a myriad of people, not only from activism, but from art and from cooking and from building stuff and meeting people randomly while I'm at the bus stop who just stop me. It's like, hey, nice stuff. And then 20 minutes later, it's like, oh, crap, I still haven't got your name. But
yeah,
you learn to not expect as much, especially as you get older and realize there's a lot of people suffering and in survival mode. So they're not actually themselves. And some of their trauma just gets lashed out on other people because it's the only vent that they have. Mental health is real. Some people cope with it a lot better than others, but we're all in something. And to judge another person maliciously based on what you might never do is wrong because you haven't been put in those situations yet. You don't know what you might do.
right.
So what was the question again?
It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and some of the things that you've done to be able to sustain yourself. And you talked about reasonable expectations.
Yeah.
And and that will be one of my things, because I think that it's unfair for us to ask for somebody else what we give, to expect, the amount that you give, you expect somebody else to give the same amount back. And sometimes that's not a fair thing to ask, because you really don't know what all you're giving.
Yep.
But you expect somebody to give the same thing back that they may not be equipped to. Whatever they give back is all that they can. Maybe we place them in a place that they don't belong. All right.
And that happens a lot in life because, again, everybody's so much so in just the medium of people are in the level of, if one little thing falls off, it could just like throw your whole day off or throw your whole year off or just throw your life off. Because some people really do live that paycheck to paycheck or bill to bill or order to order. Because, I mean, in art world, bartering, trade, ordering, making stuff work. I had a friend that was like, I haven't sold art since before the pandemic. But, a couple murals, a couple basements a month helps me get through. And that kind of is selling art, but I do get it your own individual piece because commission happens a lot. A lot of us commission ourselves out to people expecting or hoping that we'll get something back, and we may never see them again. Their life may go left, and you have to be right with yours. I was never mind.
Yeah, and
my brain works.
Right, and back to the for men's mental health, reasonable expectations from others and reasonable expectations of yourself. I think that sometimes we can, as men, we can have in our mind that we're something that we're really not, or try to measure up ourselves to what society says a man is. And I know that growing up in the 60s, yes, I'm that old, growing up in the 60s and 70s, what meant to be a man was crazy, because I think that when I was growing up, I don't think we had seatbelts in the 60s yet.
Nope. They came around, I want to say, mid-70s. Thing with Cadillac. Anyway.
Right. Cars had ashtrays. So for a man, you're expected to smoke.
Airplanes.
Right. You're not expected to ask for directions. As a man, you're not expected to ask for help. Once again, you got to hold your liquor. A lot of the images that we grew up on were these dysfunctionally macho type people, which there was never a guy like that existed in real life.
Exactly.
But we were patterning ourselves after this, whatever this caricature.
The version of Prince Charming we're supposed to be.
Right. And there's no Prince Charming.
Nope.
And I think that a lot of a lot of disappointment in manhood comes from not measuring up to whatever that thing is on the screen. And it could even happen today with what we see online of what a man is, or what we see a man driving, or where he lives on social media, not
Or how
knowing
his roster looks like.
Right. And that may not be his roster, all right? That may not be his car. Matter of fact, it may belong to the bank as well as that house. So I think there's some reasonable expectations of ourselves, and what we want to line ourselves up to be is important. I think that for men, it's okay to take some inventory of your mental health and have someone help you, because sometimes I may not see anything wrong with myself. I may ask somebody else, hey, look, how am I thinking? I'm looking at my hands. Am I really talking with my hands? And for yourself, it's like, do you ever notice your nose when you're talking to someone, but you don't notice? You might have to ask somebody else, hey, how am I looking? You ever see those trucks? They have a 1-800 how I'm driving.
Right.
Okay, so somebody, you should consider, I'm not going to say you have to, because you don't have to do anything, all right? You should consider having someone that you trust to help you with how you're thinking, and be okay if they tell you what you don't want to hear, which is sometimes the things that you need to hear. Maybe I am cutting people off. Maybe I am being a bit too short. Maybe I come off as arrogant. Maybe I come off as vain. So those are some of the things that I've used along the years to help me sustain the protest community, my faith community, my community, marriage, being a dad, being a granddad. Man, look, everything is not going to go your way just because you show up. And it's okay that everything doesn't go your way when you show up. All right, that's a part of life. And just embracing that is a relief that, oh man, I thought just because I show up, Jody, everything's supposed to go my way. Well, it doesn't, and that's okay. You know,
a lot of people do not reflect back at themselves because they are afraid of what they see in the mirror.
Yeah.
And that's a very big process of healing as well, is to be able to look at yourself and see your flaws and to be okay with them, the ones you can't change, the ones you can change. And to work on that is a lot easier than looking at, I guess you can call them two-way mirrors at other people. You can see all their stuff, but they can't see you.
Right.
And if the tables are turned, you're shocked and appalled and upset, and it can't be like this, but it has been probably for many years, and you got to learn to accept it as the behavior. You found friends that were okay with this, or situations that were, what is that word? Again, I'm not a professional. I ain't got no degrees in this. Hopefully we'll have someone on next week and the week after that can give you more of a professional aspect of it, but someone that is not self-serving, self-fulfilling, but finding environments that are not me people. It's just a certain word that I can't think of in my brain right now, but
we're going to catch it. Part of my job involves mental health, and I'm a what they call a CDCA, a chemical dependency counseling assistant, along with being a qualified mental health specialist. And we talk about these coping skills or grounding techniques that all of us should consider, from controlled breathing to being able to count back from 5. Sometimes it just takes 5 seconds to gather yourself before you say or do things. Most of the people that I've talked with that come out of the prison industrial complex, if they just had 5 seconds to reconsider, Jody, that thing that they did, So counting back from 5, learning how to meditate, finding some quiet space and think about what you think about. Maybe it's not a good idea, but be with yourself, all right, when
Or
you're going over those
loud
things.
space too. I think a lot in therapy and meditation and stuff focuses on the stillness of things. Some people work better when they're overstimulated because that's the moment where it's like they can finally catch up speed with society.
Okay,
So
I will
and
call
they
that.
get their own type of equilibrium. In some cases, I found more peace at an EDM show than I have sitting in pews.
Okay, you're gonna have me clearing out my desk tomorrow morning. What did you have him on? All right, and I look at that as buffering. If you've ever gone online, you want to watch a video on YouTube, and you don't have the bandwidth, so you're gonna have to pause it. All right, and let it catch up.
Yeah.
All right, so sometimes, yes, we're going to have to take a pause. We're going to catch up with life. All right, take a pause. Now push play, and now I'm caught up with life. So sometimes, like you say,
Dial up speeds.
right. So sometimes I may have to buffer. All right, that may not mean that I need to find a place where nothing is happening. Life is happening.
Yeah.
So let me play. Let me do a quick pause, catch up with life. Now we back on. All right. And my last thing is there's this thing called creating a gratitude list. It's a great chance that there are things that are going on in your life that are right, that are good, all right, that are fair. But it appears that we take a lot of time to talk about what I don't have, what I wish I had, what I should have done. Well, those things don't even exist, all right? But you might have some things going on with your life that's going right. So let's count those things down, and maybe at the end of before we get into 5 minutes of heat, we'll talk about 3 things that we're grateful for. But when we're talking about men's mental health, we never take a chance to think about the things that are going right for us or the things that we like about ourselves, because we're most likely trying to please somebody or be pleasing to someone or trying to be everything to everybody, but nobody's that to us, all right? So it's a great chance that we might just have to put some time aside for us, just as women talk about, not all women, so you don't come at me, all right?
They can retreat.
They talk about, right, they talk about me time, right?
Stuff.
We need some heat time. If they can have, we need to be writing that down. If they can have some me time, we can have some heat time. All right. All right. I think I'm gonna take a break on that, and we're gonna come back with some. Oh no, there are some trusted people that we met. One of them is Carter Thomas. He owns Good Christian Counseling right here in Toledo on Bancroft, right adjacent to Scott High School. We had Carter on last week to talk about men's mental health and what it means to him and how he services the community. Hopefully we have others on, but hey, we are live examples of men's mental health.
True.
And we've done some things in real life that keep us here. And we're talking to you about some coping skills, grounding techniques, some that we use, some that you can use. So, man,
Reading books, go out and spend some time in nature. Toledo has a beautiful community and natural resources, I guess you could say. And I know not a lot of places do, but being outside, getting some fresh air, even for that, count to 5 can help in a lot of situations.
5 seconds.
Find something
mean a lot.
to do that occupies your time. It doesn't mean you have to be a great painter or drawer. Just doodle something. You might like it. That is the only way people become good at something, is failing first and knowing that, hey, I want that challenge to be better at whatever it is. So a lot of things like that can be cathartic versus being online and watching everybody else live their supposed dreams.
They are not living that, bro.
You can be creating yours with that time spent.
All right. Hey, let's take a short break. We're going to come back with some some news from the Final Call newspaper. We're going to get into some community updates and 5 minutes of heat. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
It's the Panama Canal.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. It seems like whenever we take a short break, by the time we come back, I feel like the room is nice and chilled now. What has happened? I took off my hat, so if you see something glaring, let me put my, if you see something glaring, it's probably the top of my head, so it's all good. One of the things that I wanted to go over was this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper, where it says that on the front cover of it, U.S. tightens grip on Cuba, and it's the pain and suffering of the Cuban people continue under America's unjust sanctions and blockade of that island nation. And I don't know if you've known the history of Cuba and America and how America has treated Cuba. And there's a lot in the news about Iran. There's a lot in the news about Palestine. And man, you know what, Jody? It looks like every other week, Toledo is making national.
Some type of headline, unfortunately.
Yeah, national. Yeah, Toledo is making national news.
But, we had Watershed Weekend, so.
All right,
we'll talk about that later on.
Okay, all right. I guess that takes that takes away from all the other stuff. And if you didn't know that the Final Call newspaper is from humble beginnings in the basement of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's South Chicago home in 1979. What was I doing, Jody? In 1979, I think I
wasn't a thought yet.
I think I was maybe 2 years from ending my high school career. All right, whatever that means. It was, I think, 1 year after I heard hip hop for the first time. So in 1979, I was not thinking about, I wasn't having any black thoughts or black organizing thoughts. I was far away from Brother Washington. I was something else. So it says that this is the Final Call newspaper from the humble beginnings in the basement of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's South Chicago home in 1979. The Final Call newspaper has emerged as an uncompromising alternative to mainstream corporate-owned media. And I always say, Jody, if your news or newspaper has an ad, you might want to side-eye that, all right? If your news has a commercial, you might want to side-eye that. But one of the articles in this week's Final Call newspaper, it talks about that article about Cuba, and it says a black delegation from the U.S. demands an end to the Cuba blockade. And this is from the Final Call newspaper, trying to get the story up on the screen right now. It says that a delegation of black civil rights, faith, and professional leaders returned from Cuba with an urgent message. The U.S. blockade is causing profound suffering, and new steps must be taken to break the political stranglehold that has kept the island nation isolated for nearly 7 decades. It says that at a June 9th news conference in Washington, D.C., the Institute for the Black World 21st Century and the Pan-Africa Unity Dialogue unveiled a sweeping action agenda contained in the communique following their May 2026 emergency delegation to Cuba. The trip was for the delegation to witness firsthand the impact of what they call an economic asphyxiation by the U.S. government. So it's been 70 years since the United States of America started an embargo on Cuba. That also led to sanctions, meaning that the United States of America is preventing other nations from bringing them food, medical supplies. If you've ever seen pictures of Cuba, you notice that all of them appear to drive old school cars, cars that are 70 years old. That's because they do not allow any car parts or anything to come to Cuba. So if you got a problem with your car, they don't even sell cars in Cuba. So everybody that has a car
is living life.
They fix on themselves. And that's a shame. The only thing that America does in Cuba is operate Guantanamo Bay. And I think that's a unique thing that America has sanctions in Cuba, but has an army base in Cuba.
Yep.
So how does that even happen, that the same country that you're having a economic stranglehold on, you also have an army base there. So y'all can make that make sense. So
you gotta have the guns to hold the base.
Right. So check out that. And there's a unique thing about that. And maybe another day, I want to get into the agreement that the United States of America made with Cuba so that America can lease that property that Guantanamo Bay sits on. I think that'll be an eye-opening thing to talk about. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but the way America does has its foreign policy. Once the American people wake up and understand that the America that you live in and its foreign policy is two separate things. All right. It's almost like one of those Scooby-Doo shows where you pull off the guy with the hood
Superman
and realize
versus Homelander.
Right. Well, yeah, both of them racist. All right. Anyway, having said that, I want to just highlight that this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. And since we're entering the month of Juneteenth, if you've ever thought about, hey, look, I want to see what the Nation of Islam is talking about in Toledo, you can visit us every week or visit us this Sunday, 11 o'clock at 1416 Nebraska. We're at the Padua Center, so you have to park in back, but they're working on that church, Jody, so you may have to park in front. But, you're more than welcome to visit us. Do you have to join up on your first day? Absolutely not. On your second day? Absolutely not. But put that on your bucket list since we're talking about Juneteenth, Black knowledge, and things like that. Yeah, you put that on your bucket list to visit our mosque. And, man, I think that's it. But once we get to some of the Juneteenth, I might share what the Eden Community Garden is doing too, and then we'll lead right into our 5 minutes of heat. So, let me also, for this week's edition of the Final Call, stop by the Mott Branch Library. The staff and the administration allows us to leave some editions here. Stop by and pick one up. All right. I think that I've closed that part out about the Final Call newspaper. And if anybody wanted to jump in and hear what we talk about on Sundays, they're more than welcome to do that. What have you seen happening in the community and some of the things that's coming up that you think people need to know?
Well, this was a very busy weekend for the city of Toledo as phase one of the Glass City Riverwalk is now complete. So
yeah,
there was a whole myriad of events going around all downtown. I'm going to name off as many as I can, and then we'll get into all of the Father's Juneteenth mental health awareness
all of that
stuff for this weekend, because it was like 30 events that I didn't see now just by everybody in the mamas doing one. But for last week, starting off on Tuesday, there was the TRL open mic at Handmade Toledo. That is Toledo Listening Room. They hopped from the Handmade Toledo to the Black Kite. This Tuesday, it was at 1717 Adams, which is Handmade Toledo. Following that, Thursday, there was the Art Loop Starburst Edition, celebrating the grand opening of the Watershed Phase 1, and that was from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It was put on by the Arts Commission and stuff, as we do all the art loops and stuff. I was just there. If you check out the latest video for Men's Mental Health Month, it's up there. But followed by that, Friday, June 12th, there was the Party in the Park celebration, the Riverwalk celebration at 400 Water Street. That was from 6 to 10 p.m. And I believe that was over on the promenade side. I saw a whole bunch of fire going on and some hot air balloons and all kinds of stuff. So it looked really cool while I was at work. But that was going on. And then Friday, June 12th, there was a friend of mine that came to one of my open mics many years ago. Surreal Ramen. He had his Musicapalooza or something And that happened at the Blarney Event Center at 7 p.m. Move forward, Saturday, June 13th, there was the 2026 Home Ownership Fair at Scott High School. Saw a lot of people there, a lot of vendors, and help and stuff like that. So it looked like a really good event that it went on from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at Scott High School. On the 13th, there was also the River Crossing Outdoor Expo at 708 Water Street. And that was from noon to 4. There was a whole bunch of stuff again going on our riverfront, especially the year 2 of Toledo Tech, the EDM music rave type show that was put together for the second year at the Glass City Riverwalk from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. So Riverwalk got its good dose of dancing and people from different areas. Saturday, June 13th, we had Uncloistered Poetry, June 6 to 9 p.m., and it was Sandra Gill and another guy that is Dennis, trying to look at the tiny text on the flyer, Darren DeMar. So those were the 2 features. If you were able to make it out, awesome place for poetry and open mics and stuff like that. Saturday, June 13th, there was the Second Chance Saturday Salon, Fellowship and Reconciliation with Linda Alvarado and Dr. Elliot Ratzman.
I missed that. I wanted to go check that out.
Yep, that was at 6 p.m. and it was at 2357 Scottwood in Toledo, Ohio. So it was a reentry, I'm guessing, type thing. Sunday, June 14th, there was the Vistula Artist Market, and this was at 1301 Summit. Again, more vendors, more people out, food trucks, all the good stuff, 11 to 4 p.m. And then there was finally ending Sunday was the Riverwalkers Community Walk, Bridge to Bridge. So you could go from one side to the other side as phase 1 is now complete. I will say, as a Toledoan and all that good stuff, where is the gazebo? Leave it at that, because we was promised it was going to be great and stuff. We was going to get our gazebo back.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's on the second phase.
It looks beautiful. I went through there and all the good stuff, but where's the gazebo? That's all I got to say on that issue. Right. And that was just some things that happened last week. Of course, this week there are a lot of things going on. Pretty much any Frederick Douglass, the Y, probably the Boys and Girls Club. I know the library is, lots of restaurants and bars around town. There are 2 different Juneteenth events on both sides of the water. There is, and I'm going to go and run down the ones that I do have, and you can always go to our page, CSRN, and find out what flyers I have been able to promote and stuff like that. Again, if you're charging a cover, if you're asking for people's money on this day of celebration, I'm probably not going to promote it. But if it is a free event, you got vendors and stuff, it's still kind of asking people for their money, but it's not for the event itself.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can share our page while you do that too.
That is awesome. So I'm going to read down some of the things that I have been invited to, some of the things I haven't been invited to, and some things have started early. So I know there were a couple events and everything like that. But tomorrow, that's what I'm supposed to be at. So
you just realized you got.
I just realized I was supposed to be somewhere.
All right.
I think I'm just going to do my poetry and soul thing, but we shall see if I'm up. But tomorrow at 4 p.m., there is the Toledo Club's Professional Networking Evening. That is going to be from 4 p.m. until, let's see if I can find any more details on the page. So 4 p.m. until 7 p.m., the event starts at 5, doors open at 4. There is a small fee. So if you go to their link that's on the page, I'll go see if I can make it. It's a networking mixer and stuff like that for Toledoans and entrepreneurs. Also tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., there is the Birthday Bash fundraiser at Culture Clash, and that is going to be to re-elect Commissioner Lisa Zobecki. I forget we talked about this in the meeting and stuff.
Okay.
So suggested donations is $25. This is Wednesday, June 17th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., 912 Monroe. Go Go out and support Lisa Sobecki on her reelection. Also tomorrow at 7 p.m., where you will find me opening the show this year for Men's Mental Health Month and all that good stuff, is Poetry and Soul Sessions with Kay Renee. The original Poetry and Soul Sessions that has been going on longer than even I have been a poet. The show that initially found me in 2015 and kind of changed my life forever. But we have special guest Jasmine Renee, and going through the page. If you haven't posted it or seen about it, ask a friend. This is the premier open mic night light in Toledo. I don't know why my thing's not loading. Trying to find you the two special guests, but
all right.
Jasmine Renee, who also does Skinny and Heels and stuff like that, she's one of them. And there is another person. If my page would load. Okay, it's kind of trying to load, but I don't know. So if it does load this time, I'll just have to wait for the discussion later on, because there is a second feature for the night. But if you go to Poetry and Soul, you'll be able to find it. Also this Friday at 11 p.m., which is going to be the kickoff for all the things around 10 o'clock. You'll have parades and all this stuff. But it's the Juneteenth Inspiring Change, Creating Beauty, and this is going to be at the Toledo Museum of Art, 2445 Monroe Street, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Creative Learning Center and everything like that. Again, the Green Building is closed. The Green Building is closed. This Friday at 3:30, there is the 7th annual Juneteenth celebration, and that is going to be at the Glass City Park, the one with the, on the other side of the bridge.
Is that on our page?
That is on our page too. There's a lot of artists. Darius Simpson is performing, and Sunkiss is performing, and a few other people are performing. They've had a lot of promotion on that. This is their 7th annual. The original people who, right after it was made a national holiday, which it still is, I guess the USC thing distracted. Anyway, but this is the 7th annual. You can check out their page, the promotion, to find all the artists, all the vendors, all the food trucks. It is going to be at the Glass City Park. That's the one with the big amphitheater and stuff. The first one before phase 1 has now been completed. There is also the 2.5 mile run and walk kids free 1K. That is part of the Glass City Metro Park for the 7th annual. There is the parade, which is should be on our page.
Is that Community United?
Yes.
All right, I got that.
Okay.
I got one thing.
One thing. So this is the parade, and the parade is going to end at Promenade Park, where we will be on that side of the water with artists and food trucks and dance. So essentially Juneteenth on either side of the water, whether you're on the east side or the Toledo side, as I call it, where you can celebrate and everything like that. The YMCA is having something. The library is having something. The Frederick Douglass is having something. If you look on their pages and their websites, I'm pretty sure you'll see all the promotion and information for that. And I believe that is the also Happy Father's Day to anybody celebrating and all of that good stuff to you, since we will not be back until afterwards.
Right. And I'm looking at Friday, the 19th. Yeah, it's the
2 p.m.
parade.
to 5 p.m. Lineup is at noon. I repeat that again. Lineup is at noon. This is the Promenade Park. So 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. is where we will be after we're marching in the parade and stuff like that. If you want to be part, if you want to be part of the parade, there may still be resources, but parade lineup starts at noon. I'm going to share that on our page right now because I just shared it onto mine.
Yeah.
So parade lineup. Let's see. Yep, and that is Gutter Dave and of course Alexia Sims. And yeah.
Oh, and you did talk about the Juneteenth celebration with the NAACP.
Yep.
You did at William Palmer. Right, and that's 12 to 6. So we've got the at Glass City walkway.
The Glass City, the 7th annual is going to start after most of them start. Parade is the only one that's at lineup is at noon, so probably about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Start marching and stuff, but everything's going to be about that noon to 2 o'clock period of time. So if you find yourself at a spot and can make it to others, appreciate you. If you find yourself a spot and only can stay there, appreciate you. This is about freedom, and the people found out about theirs, and not so much about selling stuff or trying to get people into things, but just, enjoying your melanated skin.
Right. So I think that I'm going to try to make the whole circuit on Saturday. All right. So I'm not committing to one. I know that we're going to have a flag raising at the Frederick Douglass Community Center on Friday. I don't know what time it is. I'm not even on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, but I don't know what it is, but I'm going to get with Steve Harris and find out when are we raising the flag. And the proposal was to have an 8-foot by 5-foot red, black, and green Pan-African flag flying at the Frederick Douglass Community Center all the time. And CSRN, we're sponsoring the flag, and we'll be a part of the flag raising. So be on the lookout for that. I think the last couple of things that I wanted to share, one was, I think last month we had the grand opening of the Eden Urban Garden, and that's been going excellent. It's been going excellent. Stop by every Sunday from 4 to 6. Come grow with us. And what we're doing this week, along with the Sisters of the Muhammad's Mosque number 91, the MGT and GCC, they're presenting the Understanding Home Canning. So the produce that we grow, you can learn how to preserve it and can it. So there's going to be learning the difference between all of it. All right, I'm going to mess it up. So when is it? Is Saturday, June 20th? This Saturday coming up. Why didn't we have Sister Yvette on to talk about this?
Hey.
All right, there. That was a good answer. That's going to be my answer later on. That was good. I should be writing that down. All right, next time I get in trouble. Hey, all right. So join us at the eBite Center at 3 p.m. on Saturday, right after we're done with Juneteenth. It's back to reality to make our communities a decent and safe place to live. Learn how to grow our own food. You know, they say growing your own food is like printing your own money, and then learn how to preserve it, because it's going to come a time when you're just not going to be able to go to Kroger like without a checkpoint. It's going to come a time that the things that we're used to doing, you may not be able to do it. So why not have yourself a survival kit in your own home with food that you preserve yourself, so you know it's healthy, you know it's good. So come on out. You can RSVP by calling 419-320-2924. And as it says at the bottom, we're looking forward to seeing you. Man, what else is going on? I think that's about it, Jody.
Well, happy birthday to our council president, Bernice Williams.
Okay, I did not know that.
Celebrating her birthday and stuff. I saw it as I was scrolling down my timelines here.
Okay, of course she didn't have the age in there.
Nope,
I don't know.
I don't tell people
late
ages.
20s. I don't know if she's late 20s or early 30s. Bernice, I don't know. All right, but I ain't want to talk about that. I don't know. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate your stand on the things that that makes a difference to us. And we really appreciate you as president of City Council. Lastly, if you want to, do I do my pay the bills now? Okay. If you want to support us, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, listen to us on Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification so that you will know whenever we're having a podcast. You will start seeing us post on X. Don't ask me when, don't ask me how, but we'll do something. You can support us through Cash App with the cash tag CSRN Toledo 419 PayPal is CSRN 419. Pick up your Black Lives Matter yard sign. Pick up your Defund the Toledo Police Department yard sign. And hey, look forward to seeing us next week for our Juneteenth breakdown.
Yeah.
All right, what we liked, what we really liked, and what we want more of. See how I kept it all positive, all right? Because I'm not sponsoring anything, so I really don't have anything to say. So at this point, as we begin to come to an end of this podcast, we have something called 5 minutes of heat, meaning at CSRN, we just don't close things down by saying meeting adjourned and hitting it with a gavel. We use creative expression, and we come up with that term, 5 minutes of heat, from the old Houdini song, 5 Minutes of Funk. And as everything is CSRN, if you look at our backdrop, you see that we take words, kind of rearrange it to make it make sense to us, like Dr. Fauci is Dr. Pepper, Descent as Disney. We even had inside jobs in the deep state like Indiana Jones. We have 5 minutes of heat. Hey, with Jody Summers. So what do you have for us today?
Well, I decided to take you back to book 1 of the childhood trauma series.
Okay.
1 Year in America.
That was right in my ear. It sounds good too, all right?
I try and keep drinks off the table because they ain't paying us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. All right.
But yeah, one of the first pieces that I wrote that I got told as I was doing it online and in New York and Australia and other places, because that's around the time that the world was still shut down and we had to do all these things like learn Zoom and Spotify and call-in shows and stuff like that, because as creators and as artists, we, can't decide when it's time to create. So having spaces for that are good. But the first piece that I got called a sit with, which is the Swiss, call a piece or a poem that sounds and feels like a hug. So it would be one of the first one, and there's many now, especially now in the series in number 3 that you guys have heard. Thank you to everybody that gave a shout out or like or comment or something like that on the moving lines. Even one of our people remembered it because that's the last poem I got to read at the Garden was Moving Lines, and now it's finally out. But this piece is a little bit different. So as I used to say on my old pieces, if you're sensitive, if you cry easily, if things hurt you, you might want to, hit the other links and come back a little bit later. But let's begin. Peace. Trigger warning. And it comes in waves. Torrential downpours of terrifying things crashing against this barrier, this structure, this safe place I thought I built. Wave after wave crashing against the sanity I escaped into, crumbling and eroding away the impenetrability I thought I once had, revealing cracks and foundations I left too long and thought I could cover up with something, yes, something distracting. And it comes when you become too confident, drawing you in deeper and deeper to your triggers and traumas that you once knew how to deal with, stripping away coping mechanisms and leaving you in a panic state. But knowing if you grasp for air, you'll drown. So you hold on tighter to that last burning breath, struggling to reach the surface, because a whisper could kill you, and all you want to do is be loud as you reach to breach the surface of whatever has dragged you beneath its influence. And it comes when things are calm. You see the still waters and think that just beneath the surface there might be something worth reaching for. The treasures that others say they have found by diving deep within themselves and pulling out miracles. But every time you go in, you get bit and lose another part of yourself, trying to struggle through this endless sea, yes, endless sea of inconsistency. Where they find dolphins, you find sharks. While you were busy surviving through your traumas and nightmares that you grew up to fight, they had imaginary friends and consistent circles of people to protect them their whole life. And it comes in waves, pulling you closer to the edge of your insanity, tearing away the fragile layers of reality that shape up your identity as you watch people, yes, watch people who were once very close and held strong ties to the shores you believed you could live on forever, suddenly disappear and let you drift further away. Sometimes it's a smell, a place, name, photo, or even, yes, even a song that may play in your mind as you reminisce about the memories that take you down these tidal waves of isolation and leave you contemplating if you should just let go, yes, just let go and take the current and let the current take you away. While the sea might be full of fish, there's only one you, only one living being on this planet that you have to be honest with and accept accountability, yes, accountability for all actions you take. When these uncontrollable tsunamis try and wreck your life, and it comes when you've held that smile too long, knowing, yes, knowing you deserve to cry, let out all of those unpacked things that you no longer need to let hold weight on your soul and breathe. Stop holding your breath, yes, holding your breath on things that do not give you life, and grasp tightly to those that bring you back from the brink. And it won't let you go until you're ready to face whatever, yes, whatever is stealing the precious time you could be healing. And you could be in a room, surrounded, full of people, isolated in your own mind by the emotions you are unwilling to deal with because they come in waves, unseen, unexpected, unrelenting, and the perfect, yes, the perfect storm to stop you from moving forward, unable to truly connect to someone new because past reflections of your trauma might trigger something that will have you reliving that moment of loss and abandonment the entire conversation, holding back tears because normal is better than being labeled emotional, better than being told you'll be fine, it's okay, because in the back of your mind, you know this person is just one more episode from walking away and tired, just tired of picking up the pieces because you can't hold it all together with the residual glue you have left. And it comes in waves. Please, yes, please withstand the storm because you, yes, you are very valuable.
And as always, we snap our fingers. All right, great job, Jody. And as we come up on the week of Juneteenth, I think that all of us could really do ourselves a favor by doing something to take care of yourself, doing something that can improve your community by meeting the person next door, settle some differences with family, and get out and volunteer.
Yep.
And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else.
Hey.
Peace.